I think everybody can hear me now. So, welcome to the GDG Spain Podcast, the first episode in English. The GDG Spain Podcast is a monthly chat about technology, community, and education, hosted by the Google developer groups from Spain. And remember, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other podcast apps. And of course, you can watch us live on YouTube during the recording, and you can see the archive video after. And today it's a very special program because to my left and to my right, we have a couple of guests. It's our sixth episode. It's the first time in English, and we're in Lisbon, in Portugal. We're here for the Pan-European GDG Summit, where almost 300 GDG leads from all over Europe have gathered. The team today is to my right. I have Maria Stiliano from GDG Cyprus. You can introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi.
Go for it.
What shall I say?
What do you do?
I'm an engineering manager at Monzo Bank in London, and we started the GDG Cyprus last year. Shall I say more?
Now support a connection of ours.
Okay, don't worry. You'll connect back. So we lost that connection, but they'll be back in a second. And then to my
Are
left,
you talking?
no, I'm not muted.
No.
It's fine.
It's fine.
To my left, we have Felipe. Hello.
Hello. As you said, I'm the organizer for 4 years here in Lisbon, GDG Lisbon. Yeah. In Portugal, we are almost 7 GDGs. And what I do in my daily life, I'm an Android developer and I also do a bit of machine learning.
Great. Happy to have you. We also have like the usual running the podcast. We have Andreu.
That's me. Hello, I'm Andrew from GDG Lleida and co-organizer, I like to say this, I was of GDG Spain. And I want to say thank you to our new colleagues staying there. Not new, but we know from time ago, but new on the podcast. Thank you for being here. And we have also Mario.
And we also have Mario. Hello, Mario.
Hello, I come here too in Lisbon, and I came here from GD La Rioja and GD Cloud Español for us. And I am very sorry. Okay, it's okay. See, and I very easy for start with us and talking about this new podcast in a new experience. Good luck.
Okay, so let's get right into it because we don't have that much time, and we have a couple of bullet points that we'd like to talk about. So, we wanted to talk a little bit about what we do in the community and what kind of events we run. So, Andreu, can you start? What do you do in the community? What kinds of events do you run?
Okay, so from GDG Lleida, we started in 2013, and we are located something like 100 kilometers away from Barcelona for people to locate us. And next to our 30 something GDGs in Spain, we have developed plenty of events this year. We're in Lleida, something like 30 seats. That's more than 2 for every month. And in Spain, a lot. I'm not really sure. I didn't check the latest statistics from the GDG, but I'm pretty sure that this will be a terrible amount of events. Too much. We do too much events.
Yeah, you are very.
Yeah, you are very, very active for sure. And you also have Felipe. What do you do? Felipe, what do you do? What kinds of events do you run in GDG?
So we are more focused on professionals, while some community GDGs are focused on universities and all. But we try to every year, at the beginning of every year, set the goal. See, okay, how many events we want to do every month, and we stick to it. And so we had years that we did more than 35 events a year, even one time 5 events in 1 month. But since that didn't work out that much, we lost kind of quality. We decided just, okay, let's step back. Let's focus on 1 event per month And then there's always some new ones coming up. The community asking for certain type of events. If there's a speaker traveling to our amazing city and they want to give a talk, this way, if we focus only on one event at a time, requested by community, given by the speakers, any other extra that show up, it's going to be fine. It's going to be controllable. So yeah, we are quite broad on our kind of events, because also since Lisbon is so active in terms of communities, there's always some other communities that can focus on a certain topic. And if there's a community for that topic, we won't do anything about that. We simply fill the voids and fill the needs of the community.
Okay, that's great. So basically, you do have a plan, but there's a possibility to accommodate like a traveling speaker, or if there's demand for some event, you do request, you do trade on. Okay, that's great. What about you, Maria? I know your GDG is pretty new. What are you doing?
And for us, so in GDG Cyprus started last November, and for our first year, we said, let's try to set this up, and let's find people who want to get involved and they want to run events with us. We started as 2 organizers, and then after the first event, we became 5, and we call our organizing team is 5. And we said, let's try to organize meetups every 2 or 3 months and see how that goes. Now it's been a year, and for the first year, we had 9 events. I just realized that accidentally we have 2 series of events, one for DevOps and one for mobile, Android and iOS. And I think that happens because those are the 2 that we have the biggest need right now in Cyprus. We're looking for DevOps all the time. Companies are looking for DevOps. So we ended up having more talks around DevOps and Docker and orchestration. So we can help other developers skill up around those areas. And apart from the typical tech talks, we're trying to have a few networking events so we can get to know more people, show that we're friendly and they can come and hang out with us and grow from there.
That's great. That's a good way to start a new GDG. Find people that want to help you and find people that want to come to the meetup. So what about you, Mario? What did you do in La Rioja?
I know it has something to do with food.
Now, this month, with a lot of GD makes this is the first. We passed the first to February. The name is Surrecapoteconf. We just invite you for paper for us. I expect you send this form for I invite for La Rioja in February, which I use data which only have 2 digits, or 0 or 2. 2202, no? Today is Saturday, 22. The February is 02 and the year is 2020. It's not binary, sorry. It's not fácil. It's not possible use data binary, but say near of the situation. I would like, but it's not possible. Sorry. And this month, the weekend of the year, we pass only an event which we made in December about invite of people to dinners. With this 3 year, with I start 3 years ago to start this convocatory meeting in the to eat. I dinner to eat for all people who is autonomous. This is name in La Rioja or in Spain. We say in English autonomous.
Self-employed.
Self-employed. Thanks. For the people who is strange with this meeting for make a dinner, and a special dinner for join people technology on this person. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's great. You guys are actually one of the most active, along with Jada. There was somebody from the community that put together a chart with the most active GDGs, and Jada and La Rioja are among the most active in Europe, for sure. Like I'd say it's like top 20, maybe even top 10. I know La Rioja was. So, well, I didn't introduce myself, but I'm Orestes. I'm from GDG Vigo, and we do something similar to these guys. We try to have a calendar, but every once in a while we get some speakers, and we do even some remote speakers. So we basically gather and we watch a screen, and those work pretty well as well. But we usually try to do like a deck fest of women tech makers. Those are usually bigger, and we usually do the extended events when Google I/O happens. We do those kinds of things. Okay, so let's switch topics. Let's talk about developers and technology. If you don't mind, I'm gonna go first. We usually talk about either articles that we've read that we've liked, or topics that are related to software development that we are happy about. And today I just wanted to share, like, I think being a developer nowadays is super cool. You get to meet a bunch of cool people, especially if you're part of the community. You get to work with technology. You literally get to change the world. And I think it's a very powerful profession to have. And it's also a huge responsibility. So we have to take that seriously. And I'm just happy to be a developer, happy to talk to other people about what we do for our job. And we're always learning new things and playing with new gadgets. And speaking of gadgets, Andrea wanted to talk about a new one, right?
Sure. So it's on the news, and we are half news, at least. We try to explain about topics that are not attached to a date, but those days, plenty of people, most from the Google community, but also from the gaming, I would say, community, huge, have received the Stadia, the famous Stadia Google new gaming platform. So it's a very curious thing, because there has been plenty of different opinions about this. And I was thinking about, related to developers, how many of the people that is near our communities are on the developing of the gaming stuff, the hardcore one, because really Stadia is based on Linux and as operating system, and with plenty of libraries, the most common they use on the industry, Vulkan, Unity, and so on. And I was thinking about how many people will use that powerful system to develop games now. And also if this is going to really succeed, because, I changed it a little bit what I have on my script, but there is plenty of people saying that Stadia is, I don't want to say the words that you're using, but some of them are very bad reviews. And it's curious. I mean, I'm thinking about what is going to happen with this.
Yeah. It is for sure a very interesting technology, like you said, it is. Really. So, Maria, do you have any notes about developers? Anything they have to mention?
Of course. I was actually thinking, so last year, and up to last year, I was an engineer and developer. And it's been now a year that I am an engineering manager. That means I manage, I coach, I help and support 12 other developers to grow in their careers. So instead of advising on what technologies to go and learn and what is the next thing for you to do, I wanted to say what's important for me as a manager, managing developers and helping them succeed. And the two most important things for me is your attitude towards others and your attitude towards work. And when speaking about your attitude towards others, I'm referring to how do you communicate and how do you communicate with your team about your work, about others' work. We often say, we need to over-communicate. But not in a way of making the other person feel bad because you're explaining something to the detail, but from the point of view of coming to the same page with other people. What things do other people take as assumptions and they think that's the truth, and you need to communicate clearly that let's remove our assumptions. This is what's happening in this project. That's something I value on the developers I work with. And the second thing is the feedback. We often talk about giving feedback to each other. We don't do it as much. And something I've read recently, and I really liked it, was to treat the feedback as a gift we're afraid to give feedback. Like, oh my God, how am I going to tell the other person that they've been doing this thing in such a bad way? And what I'm thinking, if you see somebody cutting meat with a spoon, will you let them do that forever? Or will you tell them, hey, want to try a knife or a fork? I don't know. And then somebody else tells them, what about the knife? Let's try this new thing. So feedback for me is something essential. It's about being treating it as a gift. You can take the feedback and say thank you, and then you can use it, or say thank you and reflect more if that's a good feedback for you or not. But these are the two things that I would advise everyone to focus more as developers.
I wish every engineer manager saw things that way. So Felipe, what about you?
One thing that I really enjoy in being a developer, and I always think it's funny if it will be in other professions, is how we basically learn something new, and there's always someone trying to make a video about it, and write an article and trying to teach it, or even prepare a talk and go out and give out the presentation and by themselves. And how funny it will be a cook do that, like, oh, I just found a new way to cook an egg upside down. You're like, what? I would love to watch a talk about that. Or it's so this kind of articles coming out, and this willingness of writing what we learn, teaching others of what things we find. It's truly amazing. And if I have something to say, is don't be afraid to write, film, whatever. Give out that knowledge outside to everyone, and think about how funny it will be if even a policeman will write articles about how to police the street. Well, maybe that will be weird, but yeah, keep pushing articles.
Yes, for sure. I mean, that's sharing knowledge, and the way we share knowledge is a very good trait of our industry, I think. Let's switch topics, and let's start with Mario. So, is there anything interesting that you've done in your community? Any activity that stands out from? Is there anything that you do different than other communities that you say this is something unique to what we do? So, for example, I know recently there was a workshop that was held in Jada. So let's switch to Andreu. I know you guys put together a workshop where people could do some manual work, but in a different way.
Yes, and also we have the sample here. It's just after you. I have one of this, please, because I want to show this to the. I will use Philip to be the one showing there. So yeah, it was very nice because it was it's funny. So people when saw the spoiler exercise, we are in a technical event. What are you doing with this? And then we created a story. And let me explain in 1 minute. I'll try the story of this. So Mario, his wife, is a specialist in doing that for serious. His daily job is doing that. So she started to make a workshop of doing spoilers with colleagues, friends, and so on. So one day we were talking about, and I said, okay, we are doing plenty of stuff with Arduino, programming, cloud, Internet of Things, and then we can do something very special. So I Googled the word Internet of Shoes, and I see that I can say Internet of Shoes because it's registered trademark by Qualcomm. Qualcomm says that if you say Internet of Shoes, Qualcomm, they will go after you. So you cannot talk about Internet of Shoes, but you can talk about Internet of espadrilles. So we ideated this. So the question is that we develop an event where Mario gives a Google Cloud talk about Internet of Things using Google Cloud with many different stacks that are at Google Cloud. So based on most of the knowledge of Orestes's workshop about Arduino, we are starting to develop an Arduino, especially the development for that application, a very short, small, 1.5 centimeter, very low power Arduino. and then we plan to have some kind of I will explain that it's like a handband. You have many of us we have to control the steps we do and many things like the Xiaomi band or Huawei or the many brands there are. So, but this on the shoes, on the espadrilles. And we developed that workshop. It was very, very amazing. There was something like 21 persons sewing their own espadrilles. It's amazing. We have the photos. And then the students that are already developing our colleagues from the GDG, developing the Arduino, explaining that this is not only a question of making your own shows, but also that we will, in the near future, I think it will be a few months, we will have technology inside that will be sending the information to our own cloud, for our own staff in Google Cloud, about how many steps you do, how many calories, and the nice thing that we are at the beginning of the workshop, we asked the different, I would say, 70-80% women and the rest men. What thing about where you are sewing? It took something like 3 hours. What uses we can do, because we are as technical people, we always go in the same lane. We think about the same stuff. But if you give the opportunity to other people to think about use cases, it's very funny. So at the end of the workshop, people presented us very curious use cases, and we are going to develop that software. So keep track of this for in the next year, and we will be showing all the information. And of course, this is going to be open source. You know, I'm an open source guy, and everything will be on GitHub. And all the GDGs that we can make a workshop like this, go there, and doing the full stack. So it's going to be very fun.
Okay, that's great. So let's count this as an event from both Mario and Andrea, and an event where you go and you make your own shoes, which is kind of crazy, but hey, those are things that happen at GDG. So let's talk to Maria for a little bit. What have you done recently? What do you want us to talk about related to events and activities?
I'm very excited about what's coming next. So in the last year, we were a team of 5 doing everything, and now I'd like to bring the other 3 who were not registered as co-organizers. I'd like to register them under GDG so they can get very deeply involved in the GDG community. And we're also going to start the Women Tech Makers. Met a few amazing women in the island who want to get involved. So in my next trip, like in less than a month, I'm going to be there for 2 weeks, and we're going to kick off things. So that's what's happening with us.
So you're going there for weeks specifically for that. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so let's close today with Felipe. What have you done? What do you want to talk about that is related to activities that are different that you do here in Lisbon?
So one thing, it's the same. Well, I mean, what I'm going to say is the same, but the way we organize is completely different. The Dev Fest, okay? Because our Dev Fest, not only we want all the proceeds to go of the tickets to go to the charity, to non-profit every time, but we try every year to do debates in our language that is more sensitive. We spoke about the impact of AI. We also spoke about security and personal data. And this year we are going to talk about active citizenship. You know, how to do be a volunteer, and all the constraints and all about that topic. And even for this year, next week is going to be our Dev Fest. We partnered with VOST, VOST. It's online volunteers for emergency situations. You know, they do amazing work with fires, announcing the fires on a website. You can go focus.pt, and other situations that online we can help out. So with this partnership, we have 3 tracks. One for development. Second one, everything that is complements to development, like UI, UX, entrepreneurship, data, open source. And then the third track, it's going to be more about the social component. You know? And even on that third part, we are going to have a course for first interventions to help out the, how to
volunteer.
No, how to save a life, basically.
Oh, wow.
Save a life.
First
You mean
intervention, yeah. So it's going to and those who attend will be a certificate to first
Oh, wow.
response.
Nice.
So it's and this synergy that brings out DevFest. Everything has to be low cost, no extra things or whatever. We focus on what's good and we try our best.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, that's great. So I think we're gonna close it here. So everybody come here. This has been an experiment. So thank you for being patient. I think the Wi-Fi wasn't the best. I don't know if we can all fit in here, but thank you for being there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to us on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, everywhere. Thank you for watching live on YouTube, and see you next time.